Tondo, also referred to as Tundo, Tundun, Tundok, Lusung, was a fortified polity which was located in the Manila Bay area, specifically north of the Pasig River on Luzon Island. It is one of the settlements mentioned by the Philippines' earliest historical record, the Laguna Copperplate inscription. Originally an Indianized kingdom in the 10th century, Tondo built upon and capitalized on being central to the long-existing ancient regional trading routes throughout the archipelago, to include, among others, initiating diplomatic and commercial ties with China during the Ming Dynasty. Thus it became an established force in trade throughout Southeast Asia and East Asia. Tondo's regional prominence further culminated during the period of its associated trade and alliance with Brunei's Sultan Bolkiah, when around 1500 its peak age as a thalassocratic force in the northern archipelago was realized. When the Spanish first arrived in Tondo in 1570 and defeated the local rulers in the Manila Bay area in 1591, Tondo came under the administration of Manila, ending its existence as an independent polity. This subjugated Tondo continues to exist today as a district of the city of Manila. Etymology. Numerous theories on the origin of the name Tondo have been put forward. Philippine national artist Nick Joaquin suggested that it might be a reference to high ground. French linguist Jean-Paul Patet, however, has suggested that the river mangrove, e.g. Ceres corniculatum, which at the time was called Tundok, is the most likely origin of the name. The Laguna Copperplate inscription, the first reference to Tondo, occurs in the Philippines' oldest historical record, the Laguna Copperplate inscription. This legal document was written in Kawi, and dates back to ca. 822. The first part of the document says that, on this occasion, Lady Angkatan, and her brother, whose name is Baka, the children of the Honorable Namwaran, were awarded a document of complete pardon from the King of Tundun, represented by the Lord Minister of Pala, Jayadela. Apparently, the document was a sort of receipt that acknowledged that a man named Namwaran had been cleared of his debt to the King of Tundun, which in today's measure would be about 926.4 grams of gold. The article mentioned that other places in the Philippines and the rulers, Pala, Puliran, Kasumuran, Binawangan. It has been suggested that Pala, Puliran, Kasumuran, and Binawangan of the towns of Pala, Pulilan, and Binawangan in Bulacan. But it has also been suggested that Pala refers to the town of Pila, Laguna. More recent linguistic research of the Old Malay grammar of the document suggests the term Puliran Kasumuran refers to the large lake now known as Laguna de Bay, citing the root of Kasumuran, *sumur as Old Malay for well, spring, a freshwater source. Hence Kasumur, and defines a water source. While the document does not describe the exact relationship of the King of Tundun with these other rulers, it at least suggests that he was of higher rank. Relations with the Medang Kingdom. The Dutch anthropologist and Hanano script expert Antoon Postma has concluded that the document also mentions the places of Tondo, Pala, now an enclave of Barangay San Lorenzo, Norzagaray, Binawangan, now part of Obando, and Pulilan, and Mdan, in present-day Indonesia. Apparently, the Philippine Kingdom of Tondo and the Medang Kingdom of Indonesia were known allies and trading partners. Diplomacy with the Ming Dynasty. The next historical reference to ancient Tondo can be found in the Ming Shilu Annals, which record the arrival of an envoy from Luzon to the Ming Dynasty in 1373. Her rulers based in their capital, Tondo, were acknowledged not as mere chieftains, but as kings. This reference places Tondo into the larger context of Chinese trade with the aboriginals of the Philippine archipelago. Theories such as Wilhelm Solheim's Newtown maritime trading and communication networks suggest that cultural links between what are now China and the nations of Southeast Asia, including what is now the Philippines, date back to the peopling of these lands. But the earliest archaeological evidence of trade between the Philippine Aborigines and China takes the form of pottery and porcelain pieces dated to the Tang and Song dynasties. The rise of the Ming Dynasty saw the arrival of the first Chinese settlers in the archipelago. They were well received and lived together in harmony with the existing local population, eventually intermarrying with them such that today, numerous Filipinos have Chinese blood in the veins. This connection was important enough that when the Ming Dynasty emperors enforced the hygiene laws which closed China to maritime trade from 1371 to about 1567, trade with the Kingdom of Tondo was officially allowed to continue, masqueraded as a tribute system, through the seaport at Fuzhou. Aside from this, a more extensive clandestine trade from Guangzhou and Quanzhou also brought in Chinese goods to Luzon. Luzon and Tondo thus became a center from which Chinese goods were traded all across Southeast Asia. Chinese trade was so strict that Luzon traders carrying these goods were considered Chinese by the people they encountered. This powerful presence in the trade of Chinese goods in 16th century East Asia was also felt strongly by Japan. The Ming Empire treated Luzon traders more favorably than Japan by allowing them to trade with China once every 2 years, while Japan was only allowed to trade once every 10 years. Japanese merchants often had to resort to piracy in order to obtain much sought-after Chinese products such as silk and porcelain. Famous 16th-century Japanese merchants and tea connoisseurs like Shimizu Shitsu and Kamiya Sutan established branch offices on the island of Luzon. One famous Japanese merchant, Luzon Sukezaimon, went as far as to change his surname from Naya to Luzon. Incorporation into the Sultanate of Brunei, Tondo became so prosperous that around the year 1500, the Sultanate of Brunei under Sultan Bulki emerged by a royal marriage of Gatlontok, who later became Raja of Namayan, and Daoyang Kalangitan, to establish a city with the Malay name of Selurong on the opposite bank of Pasig River. The traditional rulers of Tondo, the Lakangela, retained the titles and property upon embracing Islam, but the real political power transferred to the master trader House of Sulayman, the Rajas of Manila. Spanish contact. Spanish colonizers first came to the Manila Bay area and its settlements in June 1570, while Miguel López de Legazpi was searching for a suitable place to establish a capital for the new territory. Having heard from the natives of a prosperous Moro settlement on the island of Luzon, López de Legazpi had sent Martin de Goiti to investigate. When Manila's ruler, Raja Suleiman II, refused to submit to Spanish sovereignty, de Goiti attacked. He eventually defeated Raja Suleiman, claimed Manila in the name of the King of Spain, then returned to report his success to López de Legazpi, who was then based on the island of Panay. López de Legazpi himself returned to take the settlement on the 19th of June 1571. When the Spanish forces approached, the natives burnt Manila down and fled to Tondo and other neighboring towns. López de Legazpi began constructing a fort on the ashes of Manila and made overtures of friendship to Lakangela of Tondo, who were accepted. The defeated Suleiman refused to submit to the Spaniards, but failed to get the support of Lakangela or of the Kapampangan and Pangasinan settlements to the north. When Suleiman and a force of Muslim warriors warriors attacked the Spaniards in the Battle of Bangkasay. He was finally defeated and killed. This defeat marked the end of rebellion against the Spanish among the Pasig River settlements, and Lagangela's Tondo surrendered its sovereignty, submitting to the authority of the new Spanish capital, Manila. Historical theories associated with ancient Tondo. Lakan as a title. While most historians think of Lakandula as a specific person, with Lakan meaning lord, king or paramount ruler and Dula being a proper name, one theory suggests that Lakangela is a hereditary title for the monarchs of the Kingdom of Tondo. The heirs of Lakan Banau Dula. In 1587, Magat Salamat, one of the children of Lakan Dula, and with his Spanish enforced name Augustin de Legazpi, Lakan Dula's nephew, and the lords of the neighboring areas of Tondo, Pandakan, Marikina, Candaba, Nabotas and Bulacan were tried for secretly conspiring to overthrow the Spanish colonizers. Stories were told that Magat Salamat's descendants settled in Hagonoy, Bulacan, and many of his descendants spread from this area. David Dula Ygoet, a grandson of Lakan Dula with a Spanish mother, escaped the persecution of the descendants of Lakan Dula by settling in island.It, northern Samar, and settled in the place now called Candawood. Due to hatred for the Spaniards, he dropped the Goetee in his surname and adopted a new name, David Dula. He was eventually caught by the Guardia Civil based in Palapag and was executed together with 7 followers. They were charged with planning to attack the Spanish detachment. Notable monarchs of Tondo. Connection to Mai. There was nearby state Mai, whose ruler used 30 people as human sacrifices in his funeral. The subordinates of Mai were Baipuyan, Bajinong, Lian and Lihan. Malolos is a coastal town and one of the ancient settlement around Manila Bay near Tondo. Additional reading. Joaquin, Nick. Culture and History. Pasig City, Anvil Publishing, Inc. p. 411. ISBN 971271308. Jocano, F. Landa. Filipino Prehistory. Rediscovering Pre-Colonial Heritage. Quezon City, Punlad Research House, Inc. ISBN 971622006-5. Scott William Henry. Looking for the Pre-Hispanic Filipino. Quezon City, New Day Publishers. ISBN 971-100524-7. Ongpin Valdez, Cynthia. Pila in Ancient Times. Treasures of Pila. Pila Historical Society Foundation Inc. Santiago, Luciano. Pila, the Noble Town. Treasures of Pila. Pila Historical Society Foundation Inc. Bolkiah Era. National Day of Brunei Darussalam. Manila Bulletin, February 23, 2006. Check date values in year equals date equals mismatch. Laput, Ernesto. The first invader was a neighbor, Anganang conquistador. Penis, Munting Kasai Sayinang Pira Para Songbayan. A Laput. Com. Retrieved February 5, 2008. Spanish Era Alabastro, Tony. Soul of the Walled City. Archived from the original on September 6, 2006. Retrieved 5 February 2008. Flores, Wilson Lee. Proud to be a Tondo boy. The Philippine Star. Joaquin, Nick. The Aquinos of Tarlac. An essay on history as 3 generations. Manila, Philippines. Solar Publishing Corporation.